Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon to all our 12th Monarchs out there in Monarch Nation on a brisk fall day here in the beautiful coastal Virginia region, coming off a hard-fought 42-24 win over Florida Atlantic. That puts our record at 8-3, 6-1 in Conference USA. Always a challenge when you go on the road, particularly for a league game. Give FAU a lot of credit. They had won their past two games. It was their senior night. This was a good football team and was certainly a challenge for our team, but I'm very proud of the character and determination that our team showed in this football game. This has been a developing process, particularly over the last 8 weeks, but really proud of how we're developing and still developing as a team. The keys to victory, we're sticking to the plan, staying focused. We were down 14-3 after the first quarter. We were down 21-3 at the half. We clearly were able to regroup at halftime. The biggest point I made to our team in the locker room at halftime is that competitive people want to be in competitive situations, and that was clearly a competitive situation at halftime, being down on the road 21-13, and I felt like our guys really responded. We outscored Florida Atlantic 29-3 in the second half, and that was simply just outstanding execution in the second half. Defensively, we tackled better, and offensively, we finished in the red zone in the second half. Starting with special teams, we struggled kicking and punting the ball in this game, which happens. Those things happen, particularly when you've got freshmen at those positions, but I like the way we rebounded. It certainly hurt us with field position, but we had some outstanding performances by our guys that are on special teams. We've got a really good group of unselfish players right now that are buying into our we fence philosophy that we have, guys that obviously would love to be starting on offense and defense, would love to be getting more work there, but these guys, and there's a lot of them, are doing an outstanding job for us on teams. Very proud of them. Defensively, 24 points, 2 red zone stops were critical for us in this game. We started slow. We didn't tackle well. We weren't getting off blocks well, particularly in the first quarter. But the way they responded, Florida Atlantic only ended up running 62 plays in the game, only 9 in the third quarter when we were getting stops. In the third quarter, we held them to 1 of 3 on fourth down. The 2 stops were critical stops on fourth down. We did not have the havoc plays that we had the previous week against Southern Miss. A little different game plan out of Florida Atlantic. They were more RPO, running the ball, trying to get the ball out quick in this game. So we had to play good defense, and we had to tackle well better in the second half, which we did. If you look at our tackle chart, the distribution is really good. I love seeing those tackle games when there's a group of guys that are all in that 6'5", 4 range. That means we're playing good team defense. Offensively, 42 points, 623 yards, 416 passing, 207 rushing. To have that many yards and to have both the yardage totals be up over 200 yards was really good to see. Our quarterback, David Washington, was outstanding in this football game. 26 for 36, 416 yards, 5 touchdowns, no turnovers. He had 21 yards rushing, and he continues to play throughout the season, valuing the football, which has been critical for our success. Running backs, Lowry, 25 for 117, a lot of tough yards in this game. Cox had 11 for 63 and had the highlight reel 84-yard touchdown catch where he ran over the corner. And generally when you see somebody run over a defender, they're usually going to get caught, but he just accelerated out of the play, and it was really impressive to see him do that. Ignited our sideline, which was a lot of fun to see. Wide receivers, Pascal with 9 for 178, had a highlight reel touchdown catch. Duhart, 8 for 72 with 3 touchdowns, and a name you haven't heard a lot this year, someone who's developing, Isaiah Harper, had 4 catches for 42 yards in this game. He's playing good football. He plays hard. He blocks hard. He's getting more involved now in the offense, which is good. It's always that development. The quarterback wide receiver relationship, and that's a tough crowd to insert yourself in now with Pascal Duhart and Fulgham playing so well. But I was very excited to see somebody that works as hard and plays hard on special teams as Isaiah to have some success. Our offensive line, I thought this was a really good bounce-back game for them, coming off a difficult game for them against Southern Miss. When you see the passing yards, the rushing yards, Chad Hendricks blocking the best defensive end in the league, in my opinion, and Hendrickson, we only allowed 1 sack in the game. I'm really proud of those guys. They're the unsung heroes up front, and those guys work hard. They take a lot of pride in it. Speaking to FIU, they're 4-7 overall, 4-3 in the league. They have been through some unbelievable adversity this year when you look at their program and their team. They lost their head coach after 4 games at the start of the year when they started out 0-4. Then they win 3 straight league games, and they were actually sitting in first place by themselves in Conference USA after 7 games. Then they lose 3 straight league games. They played Western Kentucky tough. They're playing Middle Tennessee. They're driving to win. They give up a pick 6 to lose 42-35, and then they played La Tech, is probably as close as anybody has played them this year. Then they get a new head coach that's named, and then they go and beat Marshall 31-14. So those kids have been on an emotional roller coaster this year at FIU, and watching them on video, I've watched every one of their games. They play hard, they compete. You wouldn't know if you looked at the video that they'd been through everything that I just told you. It's really impressive, and it's a credit to their players and the assistant coaches right now that are in a position where they don't know what their future holds, and those kids are playing hard, they're coaching hard. So I've got tremendous respect for what they're handling. For us, this game will be it's going to be a major challenge. We talked as a team yesterday about the areas we need to improve. We have 36 goals each week that I put up on the board when I come into the team meeting. They involve the team first. It's always the team. Then it's special teams, defense, offense, and then it's every position. And we were successful this past week in 17 of those goals, and in 19 of the goals we weren't. So we all understand right now that we are still in an area that we have to improve. We've got so many things that we need to keep working on. And I said to the team, we're right here right now, and we need to get here this week in practice. We need to improve a little bit better. So we'll work on that plan, prepare this week, and then hopefully we'll come out and execute our game plan on Saturday. And I will gladly take questions.
Okay.
Well, Harry's getting his phone ready right here. You know, there's always that awkward pause where you're listening to the crickets.
Yeah, right.
And then you're just kind of waiting, you know.
So I was wondering, you mentioned that you've seen every game of theirs on film.
Yeah.
How much do you do? I mean, I know your coaches do a lot. How much do you do look at film?
I watch every game. I watch all 3 areas. And then I meet with I already met with all 3 coordinators this morning, Coach Scott, Coach Nagy, Coach Bankins. Get a detailed plan from them on every phase, what we're looking at. We always start with our best 11. Okay, what can our best 11 do in all 3 phases? And then what do they do well in the phases? What do we need to try to minimize? So it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Most people think I just sit in my office and make Facebook videos with Ted and do Wake Up with Wilder and, you know, eat bonbons and hang out with Tristan. But no, there's some prep. Yeah, you know what's interesting about it? It's almost like that movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. It's the same each week. You just rinse and then repeat the next week. So the schedule every hour of every day, Monday's the same, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you know, it's all. And then occasionally one of my 114 children will walk in and need some attention, so that might throw it off a little. But the formula, the schedule, it's all very similar. All the coaches are doing the same thing right now, the players. But it's a lot more fun when you're at this moment. You know, when you get to week 12 and all this is happening, it's a lot more fun. Thank you.
You've made a point this year of saying, let's go 1-0 each week, and this is the last week in the regular season you can go 1-0. You guys could potentially win a championship. You could potentially host the championship game here.
Right.
Have you guys talked about what you could achieve this week?
We did, yeah. I took them through every scenario yesterday in the team meeting. You know, we always start with planning, preparation, execution, 1-0 versus the opponent, but I know that they're hearing a lot. I know that they're getting asked a lot of questions from family and friends, so I wanted to address it head on with them. And we talked about every scenario. We talked about if we go 1-0, what happens? If Western Kentucky goes 0-1, what happens? If La Tech goes 0-1, what happens? So they're aware of these scenarios. We went through every potential bowl game scenario, and the biggest point I make to them is what we can control is this week. That's all we can control. Everything else is out of our control. They just know at some point in the near future we're getting on a plane and going somewhere, whether it's going to Louisiana in a championship game or whether it's 3 weeks down the road for a bowl game or whether we might be playing at home next weekend. And the good thing is, Harry, to be able to talk to them about all that and then bring them right back to here's what we can control.
If you don't want to share any of those bowl game scenarios with this by any chance, do you?
They're all what you put in the paper, okay? That's all we know at this point. I do know that on December 4th, we find out officially, and I just know we're going somewhere, and that's exciting.
Last home game of the year, but this could be a different home crowd of students, a lot of people on vacation. Could be a little bit different crowd than what you normally see, not as boisterous.
So is
That's a question.
That's a question.
is he in the future? Is he on Saturday right now?
Yeah.
Okay, because I can't control Saturday. Now, I'm going to be excited, and I'm going to be telling everybody, we need you this Saturday, because we're also looking at a potential undefeated home season at the FBS level. I was reminded the other night in 2014, we had an undefeated home season, but they were all FCS games.
2013.
2013, is that what it was? Okay, and they were all,
Yes. All
yeah, they were all so this could be a FBS undefeated home season. So we got that. We've got some remarkable seniors that we're honoring. I won't get going on that right now. Start to get emotional, but all those kids that have been through, they've been through a lot in their career. And then all the possibilities, all the scenarios from if we win the game, you know, all the exciting things that could happen. It's going to have that feel to it, Scott, like at the end of the baseball season when, okay, if this happens, that happens, and what time's this game and what time's that game, right? It's going to have one of those kind of feels to it, which makes it exciting. You know, the whole thing is exciting, and I complimented the players yesterday on the fact that they've put us in that position. They've put Old Dominion in the position where our name's already out there because we're locked into a bowl. So you got all these other teams that are fighting to get to 6 wins, and we've been there now for, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? How many weeks is it? I don't even know what day it is.
Whatever.
Yeah, we've been there for a long time. 3 games ago. So we've already been, so they're already part of that. You know, that part's locked in while everybody else is fighting to get there. But there's still this unbelievable scenario that a lot of people didn't think could happen, that was their number one goal, to win the East. That's still real. You know, that's a possibility. So I'm hoping, to answer your question, that a lot of people, even though it's a holiday weekend, will say, I got to go see this game. I got to go see these kids. They're doing something remarkable right now. So I got to go watch it in person and see what could happen. That's what I'm hoping will happen. You going to be there? Or are you going to be?
I'll be in California.
Yeah. With the clubs?
No. Anything else, Coach?
All right, thank you all for coming. Thank you, 12th Monarchs, and really hope we see you there loud and proud Saturday at 3:30 for our final regular season home game. Thank you.